Like always, today's episode is brought to you by our amazing sponsors: gluten-free diet water, premium junk clothing, Williamson wines, and Good Dudes Coffee. Gluten-free diet water. Stay hydrated with a refreshing twist, perfect for those health-conscious listeners. Premium junk clothing, for those who love to express their unique style with high-quality fashion pieces. Visit premiumjunkclothing.com and use code EverydayGSD15 at checkout. Williamson Wine, natural artesian wine from Napa and Sonoma. And last but not least, Good Dudes Coffee, veteran-owned by former Navy SEAL Josh Bridges, and where every cup is brewed with passion and dedication to quality. Visit their website at gooddudescoffee.com and use discount code EverydayGSD10 for an exclusive offer. Thanks to our sponsors for supporting the show, and now let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to the Everyday GSD podcast. Today's special guest is Matt Markoff, aka M80.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for showing up, my man. You're awesome. I've got so much to talk about, but you're going to tell us all kinds of good stories. But I'm going to do a quick intro first. So you were going to be on the show when we were out doing our LA tour, but unfortunately you were busy and couldn't make it. So you took a break from your tour that you're on right now, and you what was the word you said, Justin?
Routing in.
So you routed in. So you took some time for us, and I really appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you are an A&R, which stands for Artist and Repertoire. Former hip-hop artist. You have a law degree. You're a certified legend, and that's certified by me.
Boom.
Guinness Book of World Records for the longest freestyle rap. Can't wait to talk about that. You have sold more than 14 million albums. Yeah, I'm going to say that again. Over 14 million albums. 23 gold and platinum RIAA certifications. And again, you're in town right now. You're with Snoop Dogg, or?
We had Snoop's on tour with the Dog Pound and Warren G and DJ Quick on a Canadian tour, and we were able to book a date in Milwaukee. It was this past Saturday, kind of like a spot. We had some dates open on the Canadian schedule. It was the launch. Snoop was the first to perform at this new outdoor venue at the casino in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He ended up throwing the first pitch to the Brewers game that day and doing guest commentary. And I linked Snoop with the #1 female pop group in Kazakhstan. Which people know Kazakhstan from Borat and stuff like that. So recently they did a song together. They shot the official music video at Snoop's compound in Inglewood, and Snoop had them fly in from Kazakhstan to debut the song and perform live at the opening of this brand new outdoor venue in Milwaukee, and that was like humongous.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
It was great.
And
so I scheduled the one work thing around like family, kind of like a family trip. You know?
And to be on the podcast.
Indeed. I saved up enough money through my rap royalties to be able to afford a basic economy flight to come see my family and be here for y'all.
Thank you. How do you like the wine?
This is delicious. It's a tasty cuvee. It is Williamson's wines. I highly recommend it. In fact, it's a perfect morning beverage.
And
cheers.
Yes, cheers. Cheers for
delicious.
Coming. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun today. Let's back it up. And I mean, I know you got a lot of good stories to talk about and share. But let's back it up. You're a kid and grew up where?
Toledo, Ohio.
And you're like, I'm gonna be a freestyle rapping, go to college and get a law degree.
Yes, I started rapping when I was 13. It was junior high. I was in 7th grade. That's when I started, and it's like all these quote unquote cool kids, like were like into skateboarding and like rock music and stuff. So I tested my strengths at playing guitar, and that just wasn't for me. But I fell in love with playing bass. In fact, I was in a punk rock band called the Drug Sluts. And as I grew into like becoming great at M80 the artist, and the Drug Sluts were taking off as well, sometimes we'd like do cross-promoted shows and have a eclectic blend of like rap fans and rock fans at these shows. And it was awesome. And I'd be on double duty as the bassist for Drug Sluts and M80 performing, the rap side of things. All throughout high school, I started releasing tapes, and my first actual CD came out my senior year of high school. But I would not leave high school every day, so 4 years of high school, and I graduated college in 3.5 years. I would not leave until I made at least $100 a day, and that was like selling cassette tapes, later on CDs as I moved from senior in high school through college, and I was, the richest kid that I knew.
Yeah.
Like I literally bought my first car when I was 16, 17 with the cash I made from being M80. I funded the majority of my college education and law school education from being M80, from album sales, from touring. Like I was always on the road.
So I got to back up. So you bought your first car from the money you made, basically hustling everyday GSDing, making
Selling
$100.
my rap cassette tapes.
And your second car, which you drive now, is a Maybach.
I have 5 cars.
Yeah.
I just bought literally the day before I flew to Indianapolis, I bought a immaculate, looks like it's never been sat in or driven, 1995 Mercedes SL 500, which is the Tupac car.
Yeah.
Picture me rolling in my 500 Benz. It's teal, gray interior, hard top. It has a 7 cassette tape holder, 6-disc CD changer. So literally when I picked it up, I brought an unopened cassette and everyone at the dealership was cracking up. And I like, we have this Rakim project dropping, which we'll get into, but it's coming out, in all sorts of mediums like vinyl and CD and cassette. Right. And people are like, I don't even have a cassette player. And I posted the car. I'm like, get you a really expensive cassette player.
I love it. I love it.
I loved his Maybach so much. I got the.
That's my favorite car.
I got the Maybach.
Oh, you got
glasses.
the Maybach glasses. That's right.
These are M80 inspired right here.
Yeah.
I have the Maybach glasses as well, but I got in a fist fight downtown, and I didn't get punched, but I was tussling around the ground, and a lens fell out, and I just left them there. Those were awesome glasses. I think we consumed like 4 bottles of tequila that day prior to the fight, but I felt like I could have beaten up the entire world that day.
Tequila strong. Tequila strong.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're out of high school, and then you're funding yourself in college. And did you want to be a lawyer, or you just wanted a law degree?
My parents, as typical Jewish parents, you have to do higher education. You have to have some kind of doctorate degree or master degree or whatever. So I wanted to go to law school. I wanted to do that for me, regardless of what they want to do. But it was never to become an attorney. If I could go back in time, I think I would have ended up taking the bar, which I never did. So I have a Juris Doctorate versus taking the bar and passing and then becoming an ESQ and Esquire. But I wanted to go to law school to master the administrative side of the business of music. So in college, in law school, some of my electives were intellectual property, advanced contracts, civil litigation, things of that nature that really helped me in the plight of the business of music. I do everything for my clients on the admin side of things that do not involve me having to be in the courtroom. So, that saves the clients tons and tons of money. And I've done admin works for the likes of Wu-Tang Clan and Corrupt and Snoop and Crooked Eye. And, the list goes on and on and on. When these clients do need an attorney and something that does require them to be in court, then it's like passing the ball. So I can save them money. Like some people hire me just for the admin side of things.
Okay.
Not for the A&R construction, not for the label and distribution shopping, all these other things I do. But the admin side of things alone saves people tens of thousands of dollars a year.
Right. Mm-hmm. Which that's a huge, huge bonus to your client.
Indeed. So I take a flat fee and you get me for the whole year.
Right.
Versus, my personal attorney, my fee is like $350 an hour, but his typical rate's $500. I've had attorneys that charge up to $750 an hour, and you want to say, damn, that's crazy. But it's like, I respect the fuck out of it because I'm someone that charges an ample amount of money for my time.
Yeah, because your time is money, right?
Indeed.
And money's, what it's important.
If I get say 100 business related emails a day, 3 of them will be actual people that want to engage in business. The other 97 are all talk, and I'm a perfect fucking, filter it, just going through them quick. Is it real? Is it not? Is it real? Is it not? And like I said, it's about 3%. So, when people are like, this guy has such a fucking attitude, it's because imagine what I go through before you even get to speak to me. I'm 97 emails deep of people just talking to talk.
Just to talk, right? Yeah, just wasting your fucking time.
I'm talking to M80. We're going to make some shit pop. You're just talking.
Right.
To tell people you're talking to me.
Right.
I prefer you not do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
So you get out of college, your parents are happy.
Yes.
Because you've accomplished what they wanted their Jewish son to do.
I graduated college in 3.5 years instead of 4, and I was in prison for 6 months.
Okay.
So I still took classes while I was in prison. I was supposed to do 2 years prison, 2 years house arrest, 2 years probation. I got out in 6 months. In Indiana, 1 day counts as 2. But in prison, everyone has to have a job, and I was, I had the highest education. I was the GED instructor. 38 cents an hour. I don't mean to brag or nothing, but I was pretty much balling.
What'd you do with all your money?
So people
commissary.
ask me sometimes that know my history. But I was one of like the safest kept people in prison because if you get your GED, you get a 6-month time cut. So literally like rival gang shit aside, whatever, like everyone made sure I was always good. You need some soups, you need some commissary, like you know.
Yeah, he's gonna get 6 months off my time because I'm gonna pass that test.
There was 30 some people in my class, and I think at least 24 of them passed. Like you know, I took the shit seriously.
Yeah,
it was
of course.
fun for me to keep that part of my brain working. On top of the fact that I got at least 6 or 9 credit hours done in those 6 months I was in too.
Nice. You want to talk about what got you in prison, or move on from that?
The reefers, which is why people ask me, they're like, "You always look high." I have smoked weed probably 10 times in the past 25 years. And it's because of that. Like I was just totally turned off to weed. I have investments in marijuana businesses.
Right.
And those people love me because they're like, "Oh, you don't smoke up the profits." Like,
yeah, right.
You're the last person to ask us for any kind of product.
And you live in LA.
I live in LA, which, you know, and I went to law school in San Francisco. And when I moved to LA, and it was, God, let's see, like 14 years later after the arrest, but it blew my mind to see people legally being able to just like roll up and smoke in front of police. I'm like, I couldn't process it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. But I had my record expunged after the fact. So that's, you know, a blessing in disguise.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it. And so when you're on tour when you're working with Snoop Dogg, you just walk by that. Walk by the room.
One time. I smoked one time with Snoop in like
him and Martha
2008, 9-ish. And that was when like there was no like not laced weed, but you know like the moon rocks and the caviar golds of the world didn't exist yet. So I remember the blunt. I was like stuck on hella stupid.
Yeah.
The blunt had the whole like snake of hash in it, and I was drinking. I remember the popular drink at the time was the vodka and the Nouveau mix.
Okay.
So on top of being retardedly high, I was also just.
I was in a room with Snoop when they were doing a video once, and I didn't smoke the weed, but I think I'm still high from that shit.
No, one that's funny you'd say that. A couple of years ago, we had a show in Riverside, and Snoop was shooting the gun that had like the Snoop dollars in it.
Yeah.
And I took like 10 of those $100 Snoop bills and put them in my wallet, and there was no real money in my wallet. And I was still high when I woke up the next morning just from being in the room with Snoop. And I was going about my day like running errands. And I literally went to Staples and like tried to pay with the Snoop money. And they laughed at me and I didn't understand why. And I'm like, oh, my bad. Like, oh, here's my debit card. Like I was still just
trying to pass those Snoop bills.
Yeah, I didn't hit the blunt once and I was just, damn it.
So you get out of jail and you end up moving to?
Back to Indy.
Okay.
Yep.
And then you're in Indy for a little while and then you go back to LA and that's where your career picks up, or?
Yes. No, well, okay, so I get out of jail. I finished college in 2003. I moved to San Francisco for law school. 2004, I'm in San Francisco till 2008 and successfully completed probation and all that good shit. I was supposed to take a job with Def Jam, working in their A&R department. I've never been big on working. You know, it's like this, like, I was offered a job a long time ago working at William Morris Agency, and that's, you know, like the biggest talent agency there is in the world. But everyone goes through the same plight. It's like it doesn't matter if you have a law degree or you have a master's or whatever it is or all this experience. You're going to start in the mailroom, and you're going to make $30,000 a year. And at that time, I think I was doing about $150 to $175 a year living in Indy as M80, and just started my career as an A&R. I had like 4 or 5 albums under my belt. So that perturbs a lot of people. Like, how do you justify going from making 6 figures back to like you have to have a second job, something to supplement it? So I didn't take the job at William Morris. I turned down all these label offers that I had. But when the Def Jam shit presented itself, I was gung ho about that because it's Def Jam. It's one of the greatest legacy labels in existence,
and still to this day.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have the truck pick up all my stuff from San Francisco to move it to New York. Picked out housing, the whole 9. I fly to Indianapolis, and the second day I'm there, get a call that the offer is no longer on the table. They had laid off like 100-some people that were currently employed between the A&R department and the AD department, which is artist development. And essentially we're downsizing the company and merging them. So on top of the fact that all these people who currently had jobs were being laid off, any new hirees, nope, sorry.
That's a no-go, yeah.
So call the truck. Where are you? They were literally already on the East Coast. Hey, I need you to reroute backwards. And I set up shop in Indy, and it was the greatest blessing in disguise because Holy Toledo Productions from 2008 on, I lived in Indy until my move to LA in 2013. And during that 5-year span, probably knocked out at least 50 albums. I produced at least 40 concerts independently as Holy Toledo Productions. Then I ended up partnering with Live Nation and built from doing all these sold out rap shows.
How'd you like working with Live Nation?
The greatest part about it was, as much as they hated me, they couldn't do anything about it because I'm not Live Nation. I'm Holy Toledo Productions. So like, I'd walk in the building, people would be like, fuck that guy. But let me just come here and do my job and get my fucking bread. And I even still produce concerts in the Midwest after I moved to LA, to the point where they got tired of it. And they're like, if you're not, like, we want to be able to yell at you to your face, not on the phone. But I had all my street team and marketing people here. So we'd crush it in Indianapolis and Dayton, Ohio, Columbus, Toledo, Kentucky, Cincinnati, Detroit, St. Louis, all that shit. And I'd route all these tours. But, I mean, it was great, but the money was shit. I did it essentially for extra cool points.
Right.
Because I used...
Like to build more of a resume-ish.
I want to produce the Kendrick Lamar shows, the Lil Wayne shows, the A$AP Rocky shows, the 2 Chainz shows, all those big shits, to be able to meet the artists and establish those relationships to then better what I'm doing with my A&R firm. And that's the whole point.
And for the listeners who don't understand, when you say produce the show, what does that entail?
The booking, I'm responsible for 50% of whatever the artist fee is as a co-promoter with Live Nation. Live Nation's responsibilities are taking care of the venue, security, staffing, lighting, catering.
So basically everything.
Yeah. So like there was, a couple times where I lost big money on a show, like 10 to 50 grand. And so say I'm paying 30 grand on a show that we lost money on. That's essentially my ticket price to see the show that you just paid $30 for. But there's, I lost 2 or 3 times, but I won 70 times. So it's just like a gamble, It's like ultimately I was the house and I won the majority of times. But I learned quickly that some of those losses came from shows I booked out of self-interest as a hip-hop head. Like Mobb Deep with Raekwon and Ghostface and Supernat and Capadonna. That's the ideal show for M80. That's like quintessential hip-hop. But Indiana's not built for that. Indiana's market is, we want to see what's popular. So after I lost on that show, after I lost on Smokers Club Tour with Method Man and Currency and Big Crit and them.
You were losing on all those?
Those are 2 or 3 examples of, and that's all I ever lost.
Okay.
But those examples were essentially back to back, and those were big hits for me.
But that's something, when we talk about everyday GFD living that lifestyle,
Yep.
Like you lost, you could have said, fuck it, I'm out.
Sure,
I'm
that's
done.
what the majority of people do.
Yeah,
you lose one time and you're not thick-skinned enough to understand that that's part of the game.
What about the crazy riders?
Oh, those are awesome. I personally, for shows that I know I'm going to be at for clients of mine, I add M80 shit all the time. Like, I want a bag of Oreos. I'll add like one thing that they're like, how the fuck did this get on here? Or secretly like sneak a really expensive bottle of like 1942 on there, or Krug or something like that.
Just
like,
something
who
you
ordered this? Me.
You're like, thank you. Just go in there. Yeah.
I think one time on a Wu-Tang rider, I put like 84 grilled chicken breasts. Like, whose are these? Mine.
What's the craziest request that you've heard an artist ask for? Well, I guess that's probably a loaded question.
Like a pound of weed, damn well knowing you can't take it with you where you're going the next day.
Yeah.
And it's like you only have X amount of hours to smoke, so it's like you could have just asked for an ounce and smoked the ounce, but like you wanted to be excessive with it.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that shit where they make you just spend more money just because.
Yeah, just
because
because
you can.
Yeah.
So usually when I was doing the smaller events at like the 1,000 or less cap bars and clubs and stuff, we do like rider buyouts and hotel and travel buyouts and shit like that. Like, just get here.
Yeah, just get here. Yeah. Just fucking shut up and get here.
But to the other story, then I started like, I learned from those losses of shit I was booking out of self-interest. Then I was like, okay, I'm going to focus on all the bigger name shit, the mainstream shit.
But you also had an advantage, right? Because of your education level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I wasn't thinking about it like that at the time.
Right, but looking back at it now, it's someone who's like, I put the time in learning all the behind the scenes shit, the paperwork that you could have been fucked over on because someone could have been screwing you. Instead, you're like, this is the legal side of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I always felt when I was doing the partnership with Live Nation. It's like every venue in America is either essentially sponsored by Live Nation or AEG. That's how the partnership works, right?
Okay.
So it's like, how are you going to tell me that the venue fee is this, but then the next time we do a show, it's a different number? Why isn't it the same every time?
Right.
So you're essentially just making up a fucking number,
Yeah.
which of course you get to recoup that number, and I got to recoup off my contractual obligation to whatever the artists is due,
Right.
win or lose. So that's the crazy shit. It's the same venue. Why is the price to rent it different every time?
Yeah. I mean, really, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, they're taking advantage of it.
I paid 15, like the obligation on one show would be 15 grand. The next would be 32,000. I'm like, it's the same venue with the same amount of staff with the same. Yeah, it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So the same ethics apply in the record industry. That's why it's recommended when artists really get financially stable to not take as great of advances if you don't need the money. If you have your own money, then by all means be your own bank. You're not going to cheat yourself. Pay for as many things as you can out of your own bank. So therefore, when you start, when the label releases the record, you're making real profit money in real time.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes. Because everything's recoupable.
Everything's recoupable.
So if you're spending your own money on shit, then you start making money from sale one. And that's how I did this Rakim project. Like, I don't need the money. Trust me, everyone was offering money.
Right.
But if I take your 50 grand, if I take your 100 grand, depending on how your label operates, you have an office account, you have staff accounts, you have manufacturing, co-op, all sorts of stuff. Then whatever your advance, the label gets to make back, say, times 2 to 3.5 times before your like profit participation kicks in. Artists don't understand that. They see two things on a contract. How much money am I getting right now? And what is the profit share? They don't understand that it's really a multiplier built in, just like a bank with interest.
Right.
So therefore, I structured the Rakim deal where from every sale, Rakim and I are making money from $1. And I do that with a lot of my clients because I don't need the bread anymore. It's not 2008. I've sold the millions of records. I've had the accolades, and I didn't blow all my money on dumb shit.
Right. And I think that's the key thing on blowing all your money on dumb shit and be responsible with your money, right?
Yep.
Because we can all make money, but we can lose it real fucking quick if you're not smart with it.
Of course.
And it goes back to when you were talking about you were hustling in school. I like to use the word hustle, but really
I was hustling since age 9.
Yeah.
I got in trouble in 3rd grade, and my parents think it's the fun. It's actually documented. It's in a couple of news articles. My parents took me to Target, and I bought a pack of NFL football pencils. So it's like $3, and you get I think at the time there was like 28 teams or something. I was selling those in school for $1 a pencil.
Yeah.
And our kids' parents started calling my parent, like my house, complaining like, your son took my son's milk money in exchange for a pencil.
Yeah.
My parents like wanted to be mad at me, but at the same time were cracking up about it. Like, I'm glad that my parents finally got to that because I got in trouble a lot.
So I got a milk money story, and I know the show's not about me, but you're going to love this. So I'm in, I think, about 3rd grade, right? White milk was 5 cents and chocolate milk was 10 cents. Bibeau, my last name, we would go alphabetical, and that's how you go through the lunch line. So I had like $2, so I bought all the milk. I asked the lady, I go, how many can I buy?
That's where you're
I
going
bought all the
with
milk, and so I got this little crate of milk. I went and sat down, and then all the kids that wanted milk had to come to my table, and I sold them 25 cents, chocolate or white. It's the same price. And so it lasted about a week before the parents called the school and said, why is my kid, have no money left? And he's saying milk costs 25 cents, supposed to be a nickel. So my mom gets called in, my dad gets called in. They're like, yeah, he's in trouble with you, not with me. Yeah. Like, good for him. That's an entrepreneur in the makings. Yep. Yeah.
Dude, 7th grade at McCord Junior High in Toledo, I was running the biggest Playboy and Penthouse selling ring out of my locker ever. Pornography was huge in Toledo, Ohio because of me. I had that starter jacket, like the Georgia Tech one and the Charlotte Hornets one that everyone had, and I'd just go into Barnes & Nobles and load them shits up, and I was making a killing. Like I said, all throughout, like, dude, I bought my first car with cash.
Yeah.
Like, I had thousands and thousands of dollars in high school, and like,
the other kids did. It felt great. Yeah.
Man, the other kids I know still don't. Step it up, other kids.
Step it up, other kids.
Get shit done.
You've got to. And if you do, maybe you can come on this show.
Yeah. You know what's awesome? Like, I charge $500 for a consultation. That's to talk to me, and really I give you like this career advice. I assess like what you've done with your career in music to this point in time, and craft a unique like 6, 9, 12-month program for you to follow, where if you actually follow it and take it seriously, then everything's going to change for you. Like, you'll be making more money, or your streaming count's going to increase, your social media, the whole nine. I got hit up this morning, and this happens from time to time. Like, in my service packet, it's like, to my retainer, I think at the time was like $7,500 to $15,000. That's where I start for independence. But I've had records where labels or artists will hit me like, I have to have you for this project.
Right.
So, and pay whatever it is like, hey, we don't want you to work on anything else for like 6 months, so name your price. This morning,
and that means you can't work on any other project. That's for legit,
correct.
Right?
They're like, we want 100% of your attention.
Yeah.
And so I've been able just to name the price if that's what it is, and you have to have me. But this morning I got a call, and they're like, we need you to consult on this record. It's essentially, it could be 48 hours of work, tops.
Okay.
And they're like, we know your consultation fee is $500, but we like really need, I mean, it's crazy that like, we need 48 hours of your time. It's like, I got a Rakim single dropping tomorrow. I like, okay, well after that. And they sent me a check for $5,000. So go ahead and do what you got to do tomorrow, Friday with Rakim, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, bong, bong, you're us. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. 5Gs, what I would have charged $500 for, but it's that serious. Like, we're not ready to do everything we need to do with this project until we hear from the A&R Extraordinaire.
Yeah.
What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? Make the corrections for us, and then we'll go.
The certified legend.
And that's respect.
The certified legend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm making a certificate right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm right. The coolest thing I did during COVID was outside of writing a couple books is I got a certificate from Harvard.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like a Harvard, and you got to do the courses like on your own time as long as you had like 6 months to complete it. And then I completed. I'm like, I got a certificate from Harvard. Then I signed up to take courses from Yale, and it was like actual scheduled, and the classes were 3 to 6 hours at a time. I went to one class. I'm like, fuck this.
You're like, I've got my certificate from Harvard.
Yeah, how are you going to tell me I have to be in class for 4 hours? Like, come on, man. Let me just do this shit after my wife goes to sleep or like my kid, like, yeah.
So what got you into doing, like you did the Guinness Book of World Record for how many years did you have the record?
2. December 2009 to December 2011.
And what made you, you're like, you know what, is this just a fun thing that you wanted to do?
No, it was not. It was for 2 specific reasons.
Because you freestyled.
Yes.
Right?
One, I dated a girl, super hot, but she, like all girls in Indy, they're all like work at hair salons and stuff. And all the girl, they're easily swayed and motivated. All the girls' girlfriends were like, oh, you're dating a rapper? Like, and they were using that like I'm some joke. And I'm like, I destroy all your boyfriends. Physically, financially. I have a law degree at this point, so I'm like, I didn't get why I was the butt of the joke.
Yeah.
I've traveled all of America. I've literally, by this time, performed in every state in America. I've had at least one of my albums on the Billboard Top 100 charts, but I'm the butt of the jokes because I'm the rap guy.
Yeah.
So that was reason one. I just wanted to like throw that back in all their faces, like screw you and your boyfriends. 2, when I moved back to Indy from San Francisco after I graduated from law school. And again, I've already had an M80 album. The Almighty album was on the Billboard Top 100. I've had albums I've A&R at this point for Wu-Tang and others on, the charts and the whole nine. I got really agitated with, M80 lives here again, so he's local. Like, they're just lumping me in with the guy who sold 2 records. Like, we're the same. And I was really tired of that. So I'm like, I'm going to do something on a worldly scale so everyone can just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And then it was the only time, like, I was talked about on like 96.3 and local, Midwest radio, and even like Fox News was the only local outlet that like had me come on and covered it.
Right.
But I mean, it was on CNN and every rap periodical you could name. And that was the defining moment. It's like, I had to let it be known in Indy. Yes, I live here, but remember, I'm a man of the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so when you do the Guinness Book of World Record, there's a person there that's representing Guinness.
Yeah.
And they're there making sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. And then
Dude,
you get
the rule packet was like this thick. And at the time it was Guinness World Record for longest freestyle rap.
Okay.
Now it is called longest endurance rap. And literally the rules are completely different. So it's just about how long can you rap for? You can rap whatever you want. Like Murs did like 24 hours, an idea he stole from MC Supernatural, whose blessing I got prior to doing the attempt for the world record. He had the record before me. So we are examples of genuine freestyle artists. In this new like long endurance rap, he rapped like Snoop Dogg songs for an hour. And then you can rap your songs for as long as you want. Like if I could have sat out there and rapped M80 songs for 4 hours, I clearly would have. I know all those shits by heart.
Oh, okay. So
it changed.
Yeah.
I was legit, like I had a big dry erase board and people could write words on it. People would like, someone threw me like a Time magazine. I wrapped that shit from cover to cover for like 45 minutes. So it's completely different. It's a lot harder when you got to make the shit up as you go versus like 1, 2, 3 into the foe. Snoop Dogg, like I could rap fucking Snoop Dogg songs for at least an hour. I know that man's catalog. Yeah, it's different. So yeah, like I think the current record is like 50 some hours, which is just ludicrous.
Yeah, literally ludicrous.
Yeah, ludicrous. Don't you have some vagine to go fuck on, man? Don't you got shit to do?
Okay, so we're he's drinking.
The cuvee is hitting
You have him
nicely.
drinking the wine out of the pimp glass.
Yeah.
Shut up, but it is what it is. This is just a prop now. Boom. Hello.
Okay, what's next, man? Talk to me. What do you? So where are we in California? You leave India and you go back to California.
I'm going
2000.
to Kentucky.
No, not now. Like back in 2000.
I moved in 2013, and it was because even though I broke this Guinness World Record, and I was like, take that, bitches.
Yeah.
My girlfriend at the time, fiance, decided to part ways.
Okay.
Now, we had done the makeup breakup shit as boyfriend, girlfriend a few times. You know, that's natural.
Right.
But she still had that attitude when we were engaged to be married. So when she's like, I don't think this is going to work out, I didn't treat it like, okay, we'll just take a little break for a couple of weeks. I'll go do what the fuck I want to do, and then we'll pretend we give a fuck. And, you know, so, but I was like, okay. She's like, what do you mean, okay? I'm like, if, you know, we're not boyfriend, girlfriend. This is a little bit more serious. If you feel like this is not going to work out now, so be it. I went on tour. I had an album that was coming out called Glass City, Homegrown, Internationally Known. So I
Homegrown, internationally known.
Yes.
I like the way that sounds.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's my favorite of all my M80 records.
Okay.
I have 10 or 11 projects.
So if anyone wants an M80 record or an
I
album,
recommend that first. Glass City,
okay,
Homegrown, Internationally Known.
and then just go online and buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can stream it, the whole nine.
Yeah.
But I left for tour, and like eventually I just had to block like her and all her family from my social media because I'm out there as a single man, like signing titties and fucking, you know, letting ladies talk about how much they like me to my face in my naked state. And you know, I'm posting it. Like, why not? So eventually I just had to block them all. But I told her she could stay in the house, and then I remember at the end of the tour, I bought. You know who Eric Gordon is?
No.
I think he played for
Justin.
I think he played for North Central or Lawrence North or one of those. But he's in the NBA now.
Oh, okay.
He signed a supermax deal with the Bobcats, Charlotte Bobcats or whatever, the team Michael Jordan owned, and bought like whatever year it was, bought the newest Mercedes AMG S63. I bought his old one when he signed. So I bought that car, and I remember I called my ex-fiance and I'm like, hey, don't park in the garage. I just got this car. I'm going to put in there. Like, I just want one. Like, I need
one
space.
spot.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's like, I moved out. I walked in the house after tour. It didn't even hit me. Like the only thing she took was the mattress off our bed. I'm like, damn, I really brought 99.9% of the shit to this relationship. Yeah. You took the mattress? All right, bet.
And it wasn't even comfortable.
Man, so no, that was that. And after that was that. You know, my family lives in Indy, but that was the only thing holding me here was I was going to start a life here with this woman. And after that deteriorated, I was like, cool. Instead of me paying less to live in the Midwest and spending money traveling. I was traveling on average 10, 15 days a month between LA and New York, wherever else I had to be, to all the music meccas. Yeah. Moved to LA, spend more money to live and less to travel. And it also availed myself to more money-making opportunities because literally if someone calls me, yo, man, can I get Snoop to do blah, 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 blah? I got X amount of money. Hit Snoop's management. I can get this right now. And I can just go to Dog sometimes gets shit done for me in like an hour. There's people that wait 3 to 6 months to get work back from him, and I'm right there. I can bring the bag and get the shit done.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of being in a mecca.
Right.
You know, the talent is accessible to me. It's a hop, skip, and a jump.
But you built that repertoire.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So
like if I just decided I want to go to LA and I'm going to do this, like,
my parents asked me the other day how like all this international work's come about. Like I've recently done a bunch of shit in Netherlands and Germany and Switzerland and Bulgaria and Kazakhstan. And I explained like, yes, the reputation, is definitely like people value, like they wouldn't spend the money with me if my service record wasn't, A+, stellar, phenomenal, whatever it is. But another difference is in my contracts, you send me the money, I'm paying myself, and then I'm paying out. That way no artist can screw me. Let's say, knock on wood, we ever had an issue where you sent your money to me, we did the contract to get your work done, and the work didn't get done. Contractually, I'm responsible for your money. People feel safe with that because there's so many horror stories of I sent this artist the money and I got screwed. I never got my shit.
Yeah, I feel like you hear that all the time, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I am people's safe haven because if you imagine this, everyone in music is 6 degrees of separation.
Okay.
So imagine you decide you want to take advantage of me. Let's say I'm a gatekeeper.
Okay.
And then I go make my calls. You're ultimately fucking yourself in the long run. I'll be all right. So with this Kazakhstan shit, there was a couple people that had their hands in the pot that got paid from when Snoop did the audio for this client, when Snoop did the official music video. And I'm like, you owe me a couple grand. You owe me this. And I'm like, just so you know, if you don't pay me, I'm not going to hound you about it. Just know you've lost access to me forever.
Yeah.
And if people don't understand how much that access is worth, I'm not here to explain it to you.
Yeah.
So I literally let these people screw themselves. Let me go on continuing to get money every single day of the year. And you just be salty about it. Like but people look at it like that. Everyone always looks at this game of life like it's a short con, like it's a come up. You know, I want the quick lick. I'm in this shit because I made a career out of being M80, the artist, the A&R, the executive, the administrator, whatever it is. This is what I've dedicated my life to. If you've dedicated your life to being a shithead or a stick-up kid or a con artist, so be it, that's you. I'm the exact opposite. Stay the fuck away from me.
Yeah, and you're good at what you do because you dedicated the time and put the work in.
Correct.
Right? You didn't just wake up and be like,
no.
You know, like you said, you were in third grade and you were hustling pens.
Even when I was touring off of like my second and third albums when I was in college, the whole point was to network, get to these other areas, because I didn't blow up in Indy.
Right.
Like, I don't think Indianapolis actually cared about me like, M80, wow, until I started bringing all the concerts here with Live Nation. The big shits, the Tech Nines, all that stuff. But everyone cares more as you elevate outside of your locality. And I think that's very common, and people understand that from an artist perspective across the board. But yeah, I put the work in, and it wasn't about how much money I'm going to make to go do a show in New York. I was going anywhere that would have me and still making it back in time for, say, my 9:30 a.m. math class. I was handling all my adult responsibilities, and people are genuinely afraid of the work. Everyone wants to reap the rewards without the work, and I'm someone who genuinely loves the work, so I don't mind busting my fucking ass every day, and that's why my persona is what it is, because I'll look at you and know that you're on bullshit and call you out on your bullshit and keep being me, knowing that the real people who know me, honestly, like, yo, if M80 stamped the shit, it's official.
And that's why I wanted you on the show when Justin and I were talking about guests when we were doing our LA tour, because I'm impressed with everything that you've done and continue to do. But like most importantly, you preach the same thing that we do. Show up.
Yeah.
Just show up, right? People will complain and say, oh, I can't do this, or I can't, or, oh, woe is me, or this guy fucked me, or this happened. Yep. But if you just show up, you're already better than half the group, because they're not even showing up. Yep. And now show up and put some effort into it. Holy shit, right, Justin? Show up and put effort in. That you just beat 95% of the people. And now show up and put extra effort into it. You're the fucking top of the food chain.
I teach free A&R seminars on my Instagram every Tuesday. And when I'm doing it on my side, where it's like you're going live, how many people are tuned in, it usually says like 30, 40. But sometimes people watching like, no, there's like 500, 600 people in here. I can see the analytics. But I don't care if there was 10 people or 100. Those are the people that have chosen, I want to better my footing in the industry, in life, whatever it is. And I do it because it makes me money when I finish. Like, people hit the DMs for, can you review this contract? Can you broker this feature? Can I hire you to do it for a consultation? X, Y, and Z. But money aside, I do it because I wish that someone would have done that for me.
Right.
When I was coming up as an artist. And the only opportunities I had as a kid in the Midwest were when someone would come, like a Russell Simmons or a Lear Cohen or a Common or a Rick Rubin, and they'd be paid to speak, and you'd have to buy a ticket.
Yeah, right.
So now when I need knowledge, I got to pay, my attorneys. I have to, network to like executives I've worked with, and it's not always free game. The attorney shit is very costly. It's essentially my philanthropic give back to the rap community on a weekly basis. I've been doing it for like 4 or 5 years, and literally I've had dozens and dozens of people write me that have taken my advice and got record deals and have been on the charts and just all around bettered their lives. And that's, like, gets me all my feels, man.
Yeah, no, I like it. And I can tell that you're speaking from the heart when you talk about that, because, everyone who's successful understands about giving back, because either they had to go through a bunch of shit to get to where they're at, or someone helped them. And either way, if someone helped them, they I have to give back, because that was the gift I was given. And then if no one helped you and you worked your ass off doing it and getting there, then you're like, you know what? I want to help these other people so they can have a not necessarily give them a shortcut, but give them the proper direction to go. Because you're not helping them by saying this is how you can cut corners. You're helping them by going, hey, follow this path. And you put the work in. This is how you can be successful if you do these things and work at it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Like, I mean, one of the reasons outside of seeing family and the Snoop Dogg work in Milwaukee, I came back to the
and
Midwest.
the Everyday GSD show.
That's right. Because the Rakim project is dedicated to my mentor, Ron Miner, DJ Indiana Jones, who passed away. But I definitely am someone that's grateful and will never forget where I came from and all the work that I put in to get to where I'm currently at. And I went to Coach's on Tuesday, which is an 18-year running hip-hop night, and let my favorite DJ in the world, DJ Metronome, premiere the first single with Rakim, Corrupt and Master Killer, to an Indianapolis audience. Then yesterday I did a conference with various DJs from Fleet DJs, Core DJs, Nerve DJs, where these DJs could tune in and hear songs off the Rakim project for the first time. And that's just showing Midwest love, because I feel like even though it wasn't always there when I was, the beginning stages of M80, I'm not going to be like, y'all didn't support me. Like, I'm not going to be one of those dudes.
You're not a victim.
At least people came around and showed
right,
love.
Justin?
I don't care. Correct.
That's everyday GSD right
You're
there.
not a
That's
victim.
right. No.
This
I don't
victim
care.
mentality is such bullshit.
Yeah, I don't care if you were there from day one or if you were there from day 4,000. Like, you're here now.
You're
Thank
here
you.
now.
Rock with me and go back and check the whole fucking catalog. Like, there's people, like, when I sometimes randomly will post, like, a snippet of a rap video of mine, like, dude, you rap too? I'm like, yeah, check me out. Like, this is the Guinness Book of World Records. I did this. I was on the Billboard charts 4 times for my albums. And they're like, you weren't shitty. Like, that's the funniest thing is people are like, God, M80 sucked so much. It's like, bro, you have to understand, like, I made enough money, and I didn't, like, do mainstream music. I did hip-hop music. I made enough money to sustain living, putting myself through school, getting a doctorate. You think I'm going to listen to any of your bullshit critique of how good of an MC I was or bad? Suck it, dude.
Suck it.
Your friends are get-by scamming motherfuckers that are way past their prime, just doing whatever. Like, every year, I get better and better and better. In fact, the past 5 years, every year has been my best year in business.
Every year.
Every fucking year.
Yeah.
It's like the craziest shit ever, because I've been fortunate enough to my Golden Era artists, veteran artists, are essentially like 10 years my senior.
Okay.
Okay. So that's the best thing I've learned is how to be financially intelligent, Thank you. More Cuvée, sponsored by the Williamson Wines. So that's been the best thing for me is, I know that whatever your average year is, you should expect that that's the average, okay?
Right.
If you're having years that are better than that, don't think it's always going to be that. But the past 5 years for me, it's been that.
Yeah.
But I'm still grounded enough to know that it could go back to what it was tomorrow.
Yeah, you're not on your soapbox outside telling this story. You're on a podcast sharing it, and that's why you're so open about it, because I'm asking these questions. But I do have, we talked about this earlier, so speaking of not being a victim, tell me the Vogue story.
So, just like when Live Nation came to me.
Like how I slid that in there?
Just like when Live Nation came to me, I was selling out all the bars and clubs in Indy, Holy Toledo Productions. And the most expensive shows I'm doing are like $10,000 all in, because, again, these clubs are like $500-600 cap tops.
Right.
Then I do all the dates with Live Nation, and I like 70-some shows, and I move to Los Angeles, and the Vogue is kind of like struggling with their rap shit. So they reach out to me, and they're like, we want to do Ritz, we want to do DMX, we want to do Yellow Wolf, blah, 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 blah. Well, I've already done productions with Ritz and Yellow Wolf. This is the best part of the Vogue shit is I started working with DMX around this time.
Okay.
And I did several records with DMX. There's an unreleased DMX Prayer that's actually featured on the Rakim album coming out on the 26th. And it's like brings me to tears every time I hear it. But X's people, shout out to Pat Gallo.
We love shout-outs.
Wanted me to come to New York to work with X. And I'm like, well, I got you guys coming for the show in Indy. So why don't you come a day early? And X instantly took to me. And there's tons of videos from in the studio. Like, he's like, literally was just like me. I could spot a person's bullshit within minutes. You've stepped righteously to me. I can tell we're going to have all this work together. And, it is what it is. It's awesome. So the Vogue does the show, a Twister concert, and it tanks. And it's the day before my Ritz show. The Ritz show sells out. Then they have the DMX show, which is not my show. It's theirs.
Okay. I'm tracking.
And after I have my first day in the studio with DMX, and he just takes to me and all the business is great, the next day we turn in the guest list for the DMX show, and the guy who's running the Vogue was like, I know these names. These are all M80's friends. I'm not honoring this list. Like, okay. All right, sure, whatever, dude. And they go to pick DMX up to go to the show, and they pull up in this, like, minivan, and X is like, I ain't getting in that fucking minivan. Like, I have the car DMX requested.
Yeah.
And that was just for me to take him to the studio. It's a black Suburban. Like, I'll go with M80. So then the Vogue's like, oh, shit. We got to apparently let all M80's people in, which is like, it's insane that they'd even have an issue. DMX has a guest list. Who cares what names are on it?
Right.
Whether they're my friends or X, you don't know if their X knows these people or not.
And who cares?
I introduced DMX to like 20 people the night before. Maybe
And who fucking cares?
Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
So they're like, well, we haven't made money yet. I'm like, he still has a guest list by his contract. So they put all the people on the ship. I was in fear for my life the entire time driving from downtown to the Vogue because we're going down Meridian past the mayor's place. DMX is driving, blunt, giant gallon of Hennessy, 70 and a 35. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. We get there. Once they let all my people in and DMX finishes doing his prayer, then he goes in and goes to perform. I'm the only person that's outside of his camp at the time. Remember, we just met the day before.
Right.
That has this all-access pass.
Right.
So to the Vogue staff, you don't know me. Treat me like I'm one of DMX's crew. I'm not M80. You don't know me. You don't see me, whatever. I'm on stage smoking a cigarette, and they're trying to tell me I can't smoke. It's like, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it is. I have all my friends in the pit. Now, I told my brother I feel like something bad's going to happen here. So I purposely wasn't drinking that night. I wasn't doing drugs or anything. And I try to go back on stage, and security is like, you can't come on stage. I'm like,
All access pass, right?
yeah. He's like, I don't give a fuck what pass you have. And I'm like, cool, I'm going to go talk to the management. It's this dude, Jason something, I don't even remember.
Yeah, fuck Jason.
Fuck that guy. He's from Connorsville, the capital of Indiana STDs. So I remember when we used to tour in Connorsville, my friends would be like, dude, don't get anything more than a hand job. The hands are probably clean. Everything other than that, you don't know. I'm like, cool, thanks for the advice. But they, like, two security guards really grab me from the back, throw me out. As I get outside, my friend comes out with a video camera, and there's already police waiting for me. Like, can we search you? I'm like, sure. Can we give you a breathalyzer? Sure. They're making me do sobriety tests. They're asking me 100 questions. They're like, you sound like you're slurring your speech and change your story. I'm like, I'm not. No. I'm not.
Yeah.
Arrest me if you want to arrest me. And they couldn't. They really thought like I'd be, really drunk. Da, 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 da. One of my friends that worked at the Vogue, that's no longer there, came out, and he likes me. He's my friend. He's like, they're trying to have you arrested by any means necessary. If you stay more than 15 minutes, they're going to try to arrest you for trespass. That's all they got. Like, you're not drunk. You're not holding weapons or drugs or whatever.
Yeah, right.
So I hit my friend Josiah that's filming all this, and I switch cars with him. You take the keys to Suburban. Give me the keys to, like, your fucking Ford Focus or whatever. I'm going back to the hotel. And for a long time, I was like, I'm definitely suing the Vogue. We got all this shit on tape, the whole nine. And my brother worked for Live Nation at the time, and I had my partnership with Live Nation. And of course, the powers that be, please don't. It'd just be bad for everyone. My brother still lived here, and the reputation meant a lot. As soon as my brother moved, I'm like, all the people my brother was protecting, you are all fucked. When I come back in town, don't even look at me. Go on the other side of the street, and that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people found safety in knowing that my brother was here.
Yeah.
So M80's fucking debauchery would not affect them.
Not a victim.
Those days are gone.
You're not a victim.
No, I'll fucking make the call from 3,000 miles away. Fuck with me.
Okay, so what's next? Go.
I received a lifetime ban.
Ooh.
After the Vogue, after the DMX show. The funny thing
is
they
banned you for life?
Lifetime. So I got an email. Now, the funny thing is, the day I got the email, I had Yellow Wolf performing. Sold out show. They're like, you can go. Like, your brother can come pick up your check. I'm like, this is hilarious. I'm getting a lifetime ban and like $1,000 bonus. Woohoo! So then the Vogue eventually gets sold. And I sent an email to the new owners. I was banned for life, but clearly it's not for my lifetime. It's got to be from the previous owner. Like, yeah, you can come through. Maybe we'll do some business with you. I'm like, great. And I've been to the Vogue several times. Had a good time.
I've
never booked any work with them, but I've tried.
Yeah.
But
you would if they.
Sure.
Yeah, because you could have held a grudge against the Vogue, not necessarily ownership, the Vogue forever.
Yep. Dude, I like to this day, fuck Nouveau.
Yeah.
Never once put me on the cover. Broke a Guinness World Record. Had like the #2 album in the world in 2005. And literally there was this woman there named Leslie Benson. I think she stopped working there in like 06, 07. I wish I still had the email. It was in my IEPY email account. We will never feature you on the cover because it will seem like every story we do after this for like a local musician would be like lesser than. Like, that's a horrible reason not to highlight someone doing amazing shit.
That's the silliest reason.
Yes. So as I'm starting to work with Snoop, and
what kind of mentality is that?
It's total Midwest bullshit.
That's
we want everyone just to be like, wow, Look at what this guy's doing. Great. He opened
Here's
up a
your
hot dog stand.
Here's your participation medal.
Yeah, here's your participation.
Even
ribbon.
Check this out. Even when I broke the Guinness World Record, this is a record that's acknowledged around the world.
The world.
The cover of Nuvo or Indie Star, whatever that week was, like Indie's top 10 best burritos, a guide. And then it's like local artist breaks Guinness World Record, like in small print. What?
It's in the back.
Fuck is going
it's in
on
the
here?
back page.
So yeah, they never gave me the cover, and clearly now I could buy Nuvo, buy the building I'm already in, buy everything, change the name to Juvo, do mad Hebrew shit, fucking, host bar mitzvahs all throughout that bitch.
Please do this.
Please do this.
No, dude, the building is for sale. Someone sent me the list. It costs less than my house. The whole Meridian building costs less than my house. One office could be Juvo, and the other 39 offices could be whatever the hell I want. Juvo. Here for all your Hebrew national news.
I've got a friend that
Shalom.
listens to the show. His name is Chuck Hall, and he is gonna be knee slapping the whole fucking time. Yeah. This is gonna be good.
I did stand up comedy when I was in high school under the name The Maestro, and one of my cousins said, he's like, dude, I found a VHS tape of one of your stand ups. I'm like, digitize that shit so I can post that shit immediately.
I'm just thinking of Chuck Hall right now listening to this show, and he's going to be like, this guy is fucking great.
Hey, Chuck, you know what I'm thinking about? Tits. And Williamson's wines. Delicious.
Delicious. Kubo.
It's genuinely really good.
Yeah, no, it's really good. And I'm thankful
fantastic.
for the sponsorship and for all our sponsors, actually. But okay, so now what is really next? What's on your agenda next?
Rakim.
Okay.
Single.
Yeah.
First song in 15 years drops tomorrow.
So when this show is out?
June 21st.
Okay.
Album, July 26th. Now, it's 7 songs, but this is the first ever fully produced Rakim project, also where Rakim is featured on every song, and it's called God's Network Rebirth. Now, he is the God MC. The network is fellow MCs he respects. So it is every MC's dream, I don't even care how old you are or whatever, to work with Rakim. Just couldn't be done. And if you had the money, would eat up all your budget. So this is the first ever project he's fully produced, and we have a plethora of MCs on there from, rest in peace to the likes of Nipsey Hussle, Prodigy from Mobb Deep, Fred the Godson, DMX, to current living mainstays like Snoop Dogg and King Crooked and Chino XL and BG, fresh out of prison, and Hus Kingpin, and it's a phenomenal body of work that I'm glad that I let Rakim do it his way, because before working with me, Rakim was signed to Dr. Dre and Aftermath. Dr. Dre is Dr. Dre. Can't take anything away from that man. But one thing that's a guarantee is Dr. Dre didn't get the job done, and M80 did. And I think that's feather in my cap. And I have got props from Dre. There's no...
Yeah, that wasn't shots fired.
No,
that was just...
no bad blood at all. It's like I like to be very hands-on with the artists I'm working with and the product, but I knew that as, like Jay-Z would say, Rakim's the greatest rapper of all time. Dre would say that as well, and many other of his peers. Let this man cook on his own time. If I get one new song a year, so be it. But when Rakim, like this past year, he really stepped it up. And
right.
I think the fans are going to be pleasantly surprised. The goal of the project was to highlight him as a producer, but as I started filling in the blanks with all these guest MCs, I got to put 16 bars on this, 24 on this, a hook on this, and just I have no complaints. He went above and beyond as far as the production, the rhymes, and has been doing great on the promotions. We're doing TMZ tomorrow morning. Rolling Stone is premiering the video.
I love that you put me in before TMZ. My man.
That's right.
Hey, just for the...
You know why? Because TMZ does not stand for Get Shit Done.
That's right, baby.
But you do.
What does TMZ stand for?
It's like
I
Total Media Zoots. Zooted. Total Media Zoutlet. Something weird.
He's going to Google it.
Yeah, Google that shit. I don't know. Yeah. That's a great question, though.
Yeah.
So I'm totally fine with this being the pinnacle of my life's work, because this is a dream of mine since I was a child. And legit, people grew up, if you're a hip-hop lover, like, who's the greatest MC of all time? It was like Rakim, Cool G Rap, or Big Daddy Kane. For the younger kids, it's Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas. But Rakim has always been my number one.
Where does Eminem fit in?
He's in my top 10.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about you think for the public?
I mean,
Roughly
for the majority of hip hop fans, I think Eminem is a top 10
Top 10.
contender.
Yeah.
He's a lot of people's number one.
Have you ever worked with him?
I have.
No,
I worked
nice.
on the album Music to be Murdered By. It's double platinum now. I'm waiting for the platinum or double platinum plaque to make its way to my residence.
Nice.
I have the gold plaque hanging in my office.
And how many plaques did we say you had earlier? Over
23, 24, 25. There's
That's
a
awesome.
song I worked on from NLE Choppa, produced by Fresh Does It. That is now 4 times platinum. I'm waiting on that plaque.
Yeah.
Warner Bros. Is being a little slow on that one. You know, they took they're so dealing with these major labels is hilarious. I did like an hour of legal work for one of their clients, and I'm like, yeah, just sell me $350. They're like, you have to invoice us and wait for like accounts receivable. I'm like, it's been like 5 weeks. I'm waiting for $350.
Yeah.
You guys are fucking ridiculous.
Like,
and that's the problem.
Like
with
I've
major
lost
labels.
money waiting for it.
Yeah, that's the problem with major labels. So all you think that, I want to be signed to a major, it's all fucking peaches and cream. It's complete bullshit. Like, they will stall your money forever. I'm like, I forgot. I just remembered this morning. I think they owe me $350. And I'm like, hey, how's that $350 coming? How's those accounts receivable? Oh, well, it was a holiday yesterday, so we'll get to you. I'm like, it's been like 5 weeks.
Yeah, it hasn't been a holiday for 5
They
weeks.
literally, this is of the utmost importance. They had me doing this hour of admin work while we're shooting the Rakim video. I'm like, and they got like the guy, one of the dudes was yelling at me like, we're tired of you mentioning Rakim. I'm like, he's a little bit more important than your fucking hour bullshit for $350 that I don't need.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, that's your $350.
Yeah.
They owe you the fucking money, right?
Yes.
Because I have a feeling you're a person that you
I'll go to the office and
you're going to get your money.
of course.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, they owe you the money.
Dude, I'm
I did the work. You owe me the money.
Remember, it was either Clerks. Yeah, it was not Mallrats. It was one of the Clerks. I think it was this where like they got that list after people were like talking shit about their movie online.
Okay.
And we're flying to like, hey, are you so and so on AOL? Like, yeah, and they like beat people up. I do shit like that.
Yeah.
This guy was talking shit about my dad, crazy of all things, that lived in like some fucking small community outside of Miami. I got some work in Miami, flew to Miami, rented a car, got his address, pulled up, was filming it. His dad answers the door, older brother. So I'm like, no, he's not here. He's in New York. I'm like, let him know that M80 pulled up. I'm that kind of person. So yeah, no one's gonna fuck me for $350.
No.
But yeah, I'm that. I don't let shit slide. Like, and if like, that's the thing with people that really like put in work on that side of the fucking life. Like, I gotta assess every day like what really is pissing me off and what's not. I let a lot of shit slide.
And sometimes people, I think, they put so much effort in being snakes.
Yeah.
If they put that effort into being positive, they would have such a more successful life.
You can't rack up 10,000 bodies. So therefore, you got to really choose your battles.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everyone else is just in the way.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, thank you for being on the show. I got a little gift for you, but before we wrap it up, hey, no pun intended. Do you have a message for the audience about getting shit done, or some sort of message of that? This is a free message.
Handouts. There's no handouts. If you get assistance along the way, be very grateful for it. Never, ever, ever bite the hand that feeds, which is such a common thing, at least in my industry, where people just don't understand the importance of people genuinely want to see you win.
Right.
They say that people want to see you win, but never excel greater than you. I'm the exact opposite of that. If you end up doing better in life than me because of advice or game you got from me, I'll probably shed a tear in happiness.
Yeah.
So be grateful when you make these relationships that actually are meaningful to you and beneficial to you. But don't look at people as what they can do for you. Look at people and vibe with people because you feel like you have commonalities. That is my advice. Is like it's the older we get, it's harder to essentially like sustain and meet new friends and make relationships and shit. And a lot of people are just so, especially in music, so jaded to working with others because the industry is built on fuckery.
Yeah.
Like it's not an anomaly that the guy who invented Spotify is a billionaire in 5 years and every artist is making fractions of a penny. He made it that way.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to create your own lane. You have to put the work in because that's the only way that you are going to be able to achieve your dreams, reap the rewards that you are desiring from whatever line of work you're in. And that's the only way to GSD. Every day, get shit done.
Every day, get shit done. Bam. Listen, no, seriously, thank you for being on the show. You've got a great message. You've got an excellent story. And at the end of the day, you truly get shit done all the fucking time. I love it. So here's a little t-shirt for you.
Wait. Hey.
Just like that.
Nice.
And then we got a little QR code, so when you're wearing it out in a bar or restaurant or somewhere, they can scan this, and it brings the YouTube channel, and then they can subscribe. But, yeah, It's awesome.
Very cool.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks for taking the time.
Indeed. Thank y'all at home, and thank you, sir.
All right.
Boom.
Thanks for watching the Everyday GSD podcast. Episodes come out on the 1st and 15th of the month. If you want to watch people or listen to people that Everyday GSD, please download and subscribe wherever you listen or watch the Everyday GSD podcast. Everyday GSD.